Steven, when do cows turn into werewolves?
When?
On the full moon.
I asked for this.
You did.
I just did it. Okay.
He did.
So,
He did.
happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween!
Or at least almost Halloween, depending on when you're watching this. It's Steven from Toastamac, along with my mom, and we're back for another Halloween treat. This time, we're going to be making spooky cookies. Originally, I was thinking about doing like a Halloween brownie, but I thought it was like too repetitive. And when I saw the recipe for this, I thought this would be a lot of fun to try. So once again, I'll leave a link to the recipe article in the description down below. For real this time, because last time someone pointed out that I forgot to do that and I had to add it in later.
Shame on you.
It was an accident. I had a lot going on, okay? But anyway.
Excuses.
Anyway, let's go ahead and get right to it.
Yes,
So,
please.
we're actually going to be doing 2 steps at once. Mom is going to be handling like some of the wetter ingredients. I'm going to be mixing together some of the dry ingredients. So, here's how it's going to work. So, step 1 is line 2 baking sheets, or 1, depending on how big it is.
Ta-da!
Yeah, I think we can fit it all in there.
Mm-hmm.
So put it on with parchment paper, because we went over this last time.
Mm-hmm.
In the bowl of an electric mixer, combine the butter and sugars. Now what it means is we want half a cup, or like half a stick of unsalted butter, preferably room temperature. And the reason that you want room temperature is because not only is it easy to cut, but it's also easier to mix. Whereas if it's colder, it's much harder. And as well, along with the sugars, they are the half a cup of granulated sugar and half a cup of dark brown sugar. Very specific.
Butter?
I think that's been out for long enough. And now I'm going to put in the granulated sugar as well as the brown sugar.
In the camera there?
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Okay.
And hopefully you can see it too.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. It's always good to have everything measured out before you do a video recording. There we go.
Or if you're teaching someone else how to cook or bake.
Are you looking at me? Oh, I gotta make sure this thing, there we go. Okay. So you go ahead and get with the electric mixer. Actually, no. Before you do, I'm going to talk about the dry ingredients I'm going to mix. The dry ingredients I'm going to mix are 1 cup of flour, which is that. Yeah, you can see that. It is 1 cup of flour and 1 teaspoon of baking soda and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which I have both of them in the red bowl right there. And then here's where we're going to deviate from the recipe a little bit. Originally, the recipe calls for half a cup and 2 tablespoons of Hershey's Special Dark Cocoa Powder. This kind of helps, gives it the darkness in the cookie. However, as I was looking for this online, I actually read the reviews saying that for some reason they changed up the formula to their Special Dark Cocoa Powder, and a lot of people are not happy with it.
So we're not going to do that.
Yeah, so instead, we're going to stick with the traditional Hershey's cocoa powder that we used last time as a substitute.
So let's show them the box so they know.
Yep. So you want this one instead of the special dark one, at least until they listen to the masses and change up the formula back to what it's supposed to be. Or maybe make something better. So.
All right, and a lot of times whenever you're baking with a darker chocolate, it's usually better in smaller volumes, not in larger volumes, because the dark chocolate has a little bit of a bite to it. And while it is very delicious, that's not what you're looking for in a cookie.
Yeah, because the last time we used we used a chocolate bar with a very high level of cocoa. Mm-hmm. And while the brownie tasted good, it was like it had a bitter aftertaste. Did you notice it?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm not the only one. I'm not going crazy here.
I'm not going to go quite that far, but I did notice it.
Gee, thanks, Mom.
You're welcome.
And and then this. Okay, so Mom's gonna work on this. I'm gonna work on the dry ingredients. And you're gonna mix that all together. And once that's in, we'll get to the black dye.
Okay, here we go.
So at this point, I think the dry ingredients are well mixed.
Now the one thing I want to let everybody know, while Stephen was doing that and I was mixing up this, you'll notice that it's not completely, all crumbled up. The whole idea is when we mix the other part and then we mix everything in, what's going to happen is this is going to melt the butter down a little bit further. You don't want to melt the butter because what's going to happen is then you won't get a cookie type dough.
Yeah, it'll just be all liquidy.
Exactly. So the reason we're doing this way is because what it's doing is the soft butter grabs onto all the sugars, and it's kind of like making, on like a coffee cake, those crumbles on top. That's kind of what we're doing here.
Now, do you think these are evenly mixed?
Pretty much. What I can do now, because since I don't want to keep doing the same thing, because as everybody saw, this eventually spits it all out.
Yeah.
Is I can now take this tool, and you see how I can just finish it up?
So that way you can mix it all thoroughly without, having it spill all over the place.
Correct.
Now around this point is when they want us to add the black food coloring. Now the important thing is, in the recipe, they say that the black food coloring is optional. However, since we're using the regular Hershey's cocoa and not the special dark cocoa, this becomes more necessary. Because that special dark cocoa was supposed to bring out, make it all dark. But this will help, hopefully.
Now the other thing is, if you are making these cookies for special needs, we used to call it, now they're neurodiverse children, and if the coloring is going to put them off, then you can just put like a little spot on it, just so that they get the idea, but this way it won't frighten them, and then this way they'll still want to eat the cookie. So look at your audience. Who are you giving these cookies to make the determination of if you're going to use it, or if so, how much.
Yeah, because if you saw the thumbnail of this video, which I think is going to look really good, or like if you took a look at the link in the description, you'll probably see what I mean.
Right.
So do you think this is ready for the black food
I
coloring?
do believe it is.
Okay. Now it doesn't really say how much.
I would start with 2 drops.
Okay.
Or 1 blip. Okay, let's just try with that first. Okay.
Maybe just another one just to be, extra black.
Well, again, we want to make sure how this is going to react. And right now, it's not really mixing in very well. Now, if you do not have black dye and you have the regular food dyes, what you can actually do is add your green, red, and blue together. That will come up black. Okay, it's getting some of it.
I think that if we do the beater, it might be able to do a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get the butter.
Now, we're not adding in the egg and vanilla yet because the recipe says
Do that at the end.
beat it together for 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay, here we go, guys. As you can see, it is starting to darken up a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Stephen, let's go ahead and put another little, maybe a ½ inch's worth.
Okay.
That's good.
There we go.
So if it's anything, it's kind of like a green-black, which is fine too.
Yeah.
Because it's still...
Yeah, well, we'll make do with it.
Let's see how that goes. Okay.
Let's go ahead and add the vanilla extract and egg next.
Okay, and whoops.
The egg's right here.
Yep. So how many eggs are we wanting?
We just want 1 egg.
1 egg. Okay, and am I doing it direct into here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because like I know some recipes call for like separating the eggs from the egg whites, but not this one.
Okay.
And then we want. Let me go back up here. Where is it? 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract.
Okay. 1 teaspoon or 5 mLs.
There we go.
Okay, we're going to put that in there. Okay.
Okay. So now we're gonna, let's see. Do we mix it all together or do we start adding the other dry ingredients in?
I'm thinking probably to mix it.
Okay.
But what I'm going to do is, so I don't want to make it chewy, is I'm going to use this instead.
Yeah, and that way the egg doesn't spin all over the place.
Yeah. So you see how it really is still coming out more green, but it's still got that spooky aspect to it. Almost looks like spinach, huh?
Oh God, now the kids are really not gonna eat it.
Or for me.
Do you think it's too late to add a little bit more black? Or...
I wouldn't get any more. Let's just see how this works out, okay?
Okay.
Because remember, the yellow from the egg also changes the color.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we got that all nice and mixed in here.
Yeah, and again, we're just eyeballing this right now. You may want to try more black food coloring, or you may want to try less. So just experiment for yourself. See what works for you.
Have some fun with it. That's the thing about cooking and baking. You have to have fun. If you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. Absolutely. Okay, so what's next, Stephen?
Okay, so now that we mix that in, we slowly add the ingredients into the wet ingredients with the mixer on low speed, or what you're doing.
Okay, so we're just gonna pour it in like this, and you can keep stirring it. And you don't want to just dump everything in. You want to do it a little bit at a time. When you dump it all in, it makes it much, much more difficult. Because as you see, let me see, yeah. So Stephen, tilt the bowl a little bit. You see how easily he's getting it mixed in? If I dump the whole thing in, he won't be able to do that. Okay, so now we'll give him a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a good thing we're doing this away from the camera, so that way the dust doesn't, fog up the lens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your camera's doing well.
It's starting to get to that point where it's like...
Should be getting doughy.
Yeah.
Do you want to trade places then?
Yeah, go ahead and trade. I'm not saying I'm weak.
I am. Okay, now hold on. Let me get the sides Okay. That was another reason I wanted to do this, because this is not... every time you do this, whether you're baking or you're cooking, you're going to learn new tricks, and hopefully you'll learn a couple from us. But, watch other cooking and baking shows as well.
Oh, tilted towards this way? There we go.
When Stephen was little, he had an absolute fascination with watching the Cake Boss. Absolutely loved to watch Carlo.
I mean, it wasn't just like, most people call him Buddy.
Yeah.
Do a little bit more. So, what really drew me to Buddy Velastro is not just the cake designs, but it's from him that I really learned what the word passion means. To find something you really love doing. Now, this was a family-owned business, but it's you could tell that Buddy goes 110%
all the time.
Oh yeah, he always makes sure that it's the best thing people have ever seen, and that it leaves a lasting memory.
So, passion was definitely a big thing for Stephen. But the other thing is, it helped him to understand that you really have to follow instructions and understand what the instructions mean whenever you're trying to be creative. He then turned around and applied that very same principle when he started learning about photography and videography when he was in college.
Ready?
Okay, well, hold on, because I got a clump of mud on my thing here.
It's all mud.
Yeah. I don't know it's going to be able to take all of that because we're going to get pretty doughy.
Well, once we get the rest of them in, then we'll add the milk.
Yes.
So hopefully that should help out.
Well, we may have to put a touch in the milk beforehand because this is going to get very pasty.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and get the milk, and we want 2 tablespoons of milk.
Okay.
Do you think we should do a little bit more though?
No, what we're going to do is we're going to do 1 bit of a tablespoon at a time. So you'll pour 1 tablespoon, and then you'll just give me a little bit at a time. Because as you guys can see, I'm still able to get the chocolate incorporated, but you see how it's starting to form like little waves, okay? So that means that it just needs just a little moisture, okay? So, oh, I'm sorry. I put the tablespoon over here.
It's all good. Just make sure the cameras are in focus. Mom handles a lot of the baking stuff. I make sure the cameras work.
Good teamwork, guys. Good teamwork.
And you know, as you're mixing the cocoa in, I'm really starting to see the black now. It's like it's really coming into black.
Yep. Okay. So, here is your tablespoon.
Okay, so we'll do 1 tablespoon at a time?
Mm-hmm. And you only do a little bit at a time, so I'll show you. So, there's 1 tablespoon. Okay. So I'm just going to put a little bit on it to kind of soften it up. Can you hold this, Stephen, please?
Yeah, I got it.
So that I can get it mixing again. And you see it doesn't really take too much.
And you also don't want to add all the milk in at once because you want to be able to distribute the milk and also control where the milk's going.
Exactly.
Okay. And then once we add the rest of the milk in, like so, then we'll add the rest of the cocoa powder in, and then the other tablespoon of milk.
Right. So you see how it makes it like a mud pie.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's kind of what you want to be able to work with. Okay, let's have some more chocolate, please.
Okay. Yeah. I know this is like taking a bit, but this is a very delicate process.
Yeah.
Baking is kind of like chemistry. You got to get everything right.
In the right order, with the right amount, at
the
right
right
amount of time.
Jinx.
Uh-huh. What did you used to tell me? Buggy bunch, pinch, pinch, or something like that?
Oh, punch buggy, no punch back? I don't think kids even do that anymore. God, I feel old just thinking of it.
Do any of you know what we just did? Email or send a message to Stephen at Toastamac. Let's see how many of you knew that one.
Or just leave a comment in the comment section below. It'll be much easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then everybody else is going to see it and you'll be cheating.
Coming here to make sure. Yeah, it's in focus. Just making sure. Good.
Okay. Okay, now let's have the rest of that.
Yeah, let's add the rest of that and then we'll add the milk.
Right.
Okay, good. Right. Step away.
Okay, and if you can get the tablespoon of milk ready for me, and then just like the last time, I just need a little bit at a time, please.
Now, once we add the milk in and it's all mixed up, then we'll add the chocolate chips.
Okay, next, milk, Ben. Go ahead and add it all.
I don't know, okay.
Now, did you guys see the volume of chocolate chips he's gonna put in here? Holy cow!
Hey, don't blame me. That's in the instructions.
I'm sure he exaggerated.
Did I? Now, do you think it needs any more milk than that, or?
Yeah, it does need a little bit more.
Okay, let me wash the tablespoon real quick.
Like I cook, I bake. I measure with the hand.
Oh, did you already add more milk already?
Yes.
Ew, okay. Yeah.
As you guys get more experience with doing baking and cooking, you will be able to, by sight, like I'm doing, but when you're first starting out, you want to really stay close to the recipe, but also understand, if your batter looks a lot like this, and you're not able to move it around, that's when you need to just add another touch of milk. And again, you've been watching how much I'm doing just a little bit at a time, okay?
So at this point, we're probably at like, what, 3 tablespoons?
Possibly.
Okay.
Possibly. That's the disadvantage to doing it the way I do it, is because I don't measure. However, I know what the batter needs to look like for it to come out as a cookie.
Now, I do want to give a heads up. If you see a cut somewhere, that's probably because the camera hit its recording limit, so don't panic.
He's a genius. He'll fix it. Just don't tell him I said that. I still have to live with him.
I'm standing right here.
Hi, Steven.
Gee, thanks.
Did I ask you the question about when the cows turn into werewolves?
Let's see. Does that need more milk?
Let me see. I might be able to just do with this.
Okay.
Okay.
Because, like, it's not supposed to be liquidy like a brownie batter, but...
Right, but I think we need just a tiny bit more, because when we add those chocolate chips, it's going to be very difficult to mix them in.
Yeah. So this one, we're probably looking at like 3.5 tablespoons at this point?
It's a possibility, but again, we're also at a higher altitude, so I don't know if that makes a difference in this. Okay?
No, I'm sure someone can tell us about it.
Yeah, if you know, send Steven the message.
So do you think that's ready for the chocolate chips?
I think this is ready for chocolate chips. Yep.
Go. All right. Thankfully, I don't have to add this bit by bit.
Oh.
There we go.
Now this is a little harder to mix in, guys, because what you're trying to do is get the chocolate chips pretty much everywhere. So you're gonna have to really
work it in.
Work it in. And I might switch over to a different tool, only because this is gonna be a little bit easier because I don't have a wire. See where I have the wire? It makes it difficult to get things to stick in.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna hold this aside because I might need the wire again. So I'm just gonna put it over here. But what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to get these chocolate chips inside the dough. And that's why doing a tool like this would work a little bit better. Now, if you are trying to use your Mix Master to do this, of course it's gonna be easier on you because the machine's gonna do it. But what's gonna happen is your chocolate chips will get broken and they may or may not evenly be dispersed in the dough. See, with this, I'm able to control where these chocolate chips are gonna go. And of course, we all know a bite of a cookie with no chocolate chip is no bite of a cookie.
Exactly.
Okay. So I hope you can see how I'm just, it's like I'm almost painting the chocolate chips in with the spatula here. Okay. And then I'm going to turn it around to make sure it's in the back. So Steven, does that look like the chocolate chips are pretty even in there?
Yep.
Okay. So guys, what do you think? How's that looking to you?
I'd say it's looking pretty good. Just making sure the camera can focus in on it. Yep.
Okay. So, and now we never waste any batter, guys. It's against our religion. Anyone who's a chocolate lover knows better than that.
Yep. So here's what's going to happen next, and mostly because the camera is running out of runtime. So the final step with these spooky cookies is getting 2 tablespoons of the dough, or if you have a cookie scooper right here, 1 scoop, and place them on the tray in even amount of space. From there, we get to what really makes them spooky, eye candy. Literally, eye candy. So what you could do is you could place the eye candy amongst the chocolate chip cookies. Really make them spooky. Be creative with it. You don't have to be all uniform about it. Now afterwards, once that's all done, you actually put the dough in a freezer for about 15 minutes or 2 hours if you want to use a refrigerator. This helps it maintain its shape as it's baking. And then the recipe calls for 350 degrees at about 10 to 12 minutes. We'll probably do 15 because of higher altitude, and we'll go from there. So I'll see you in a bit.
Okay. Hey, Steven.
Yeah.
How come Casper the Ghost didn't dance at our party?
I feel like I really shouldn't entertain this, but why?
He had nobody to dance with.
Pardon me while I drown in the sink. Okay.
I had to.
So, anyway, we did a little bit of testing before our final bake, and there are a few things you want to know. First is you actually want to flatten out the cookies. I probably would have mentioned this in like a text box or something, but the reason you want to flatten them a little bit is because they don't expand, they don't spread like we thought they would. But hey, I'm used to the one that's like store-bought, so what do I know?
But only a little bit. So when you take it down like this. Don't take it down like this, because then it's going to be a wafer and you're not going to enjoy the flavor.
And it bakes a lot more quickly, that too. So that's probably why the instruction thing said 10 to 11 minutes.
Right.
The second thing is I've also learned that 16 minutes is too much time. It's going to be overcooked, and the eye candy starts to melt. Like we did a little a test run, like a test batch. I'll show a picture right here. And we noticed that several of the eye candies, particularly the smaller ones.
The smaller ones, yeah.
Smaller ones melt faster. So we did the second batch with like 12 or 13 minutes, so that's kind of like our comfort zone. And let me show you one of them. Here we go. Look at this. Look at this. It looks horrendous in the worst way possible. Hey, don't bite my finger. But look at it. It looks so amazing. Yeah, it doesn't look perfectly round, but will you stop that? It doesn't look perfectly round, but it's kind of a spooky cookie. You don't want it perfect. Okay, I'm starting to get the message here. Here you go.
Thank you.
And I'll go and grab one.
Oh. Heaven in a bite. Definitely amazing. You definitely want to make these. They weren't difficult, and they're very, very delicious. Sorry about that kick, guys. That was my fault.
The camera wanted to give a little scare. Yeah, okay. So, it's like when you bite into this, you know you've done it right when it's like, when you bite into it and... Oh, what are you trying to do?
I'm trying to show the gooey center.
There.
It's amazing.
There we go. Well, you're doing it too close.
Oh.
Right about there. So it's like when you bite into it and you get this smooth feeling in your mouth,
Yes.
that creamy chocolate, the chewy dough, you know you've done it right when you get that perfect bite in. Like I bit in
That, it beats the brownie for me.
Yeah. The brownie was pretty good, but it had a bitter aftertaste.
This is amazing. Especially if you love chocolate as much as I do, that's the real deal.
Well, not only that, it's a lot of fun to make, especially for kids. And it's like you don't even need the black dye. It came out really good, but it's like if you want to make a regular chocolate chip cookie with eye candy, that's fine too. But
the kids will have a blast. It's a good mom-child activity. It doesn't take more than, I'm going to say, with the preparation and everything, if we may invested 45 minutes, that's about it. And think about
45 minutes max.
You're building memories with your kids. And this is stuff, because Stephen will tell you, my boys will tell you, when they were little, we would have the neighbors come over and I'd give them, do you remember I used to give you string and you'd wrap it around the tube of cookie and you had to pull it to make the cookies fall? And you'd have thought I gave those kids everything in the world. I bought pre-made tubes. I had string from sewing, and since I didn't want to give children knives, it's just not a good idea. I gave them the string. They wrapped it around. They pulled one string this way, one string this way. It cut it nicely. They thought they were all that and 10 cents more. Put it on the thing, sprinkled on some sprinkles. They remembered that. This is another cookie. It's going to be very easy to do, and your children will love it. It's very tasty. It's homemade. It's healthy. There's no artificial anything in this.
Exactly. So I definitely recommend giving this a try. 12 minutes seems like the sweet mark, pun intended. The sweet mark for like getting like that perfect cookie quality. Like it's soft and gooey. It's not like a hockey puck. It's like just right. So
it really is, guys.
Yeah.
Try it. You're gonna love it.
So that's the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this. It's something a little different, and it's something, you know, including my mom. So, you know, it's a lot of fun.
Yep.
So, so that's probably going to be the last baking video we'll do for a while, but...
The holidays are coming.
Well, we'll see. But I'll tell you this. If these videos do good enough, like the cookie and the brownie video, if they do good enough, and if you want us to do, like, more recipes later on, like some more homemade stuff, let us know in the comment section below, or maybe like tell us a little bit about a recipe you experienced, or maybe you want us to recreate. Hopefully it's not too difficult. Like, if you guys want it, we can
do
make
it.
Yeah, if you want it, we can make more. Just let us know, okay?
We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, so thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna get back to enjoying this, and
Toast.
yeah, until the next video, see you
Bye.
later.